me, Lisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journal process video for you. I am working with a new set from Kelly Bangs. This is Travel Time number 3. So it's our third install of this Travel Time series. It is super cute, just like all the rest. It has the same little pamphlet with some gorgeous words in it, and you have the long tags. I really love these tickets. I think those are super cute. Loving the bus and the signs. I think those are super cute. I absolutely think this is a great set. So beautiful set. And then there's also some new papers, which are bright and fun. I really like the orange a lot, actually. I think that might be what I gravitate towards, but I also really like this one. So I'm not totally sure what I will end up using. So anyway, I am going to be journaling today in the book of Isaiah, specifically Isaiah 40 verse 31. I will end up linking everything that I used down below, including this new set and these new papers. Otherwise, I will put you on fast forward. Let's go. So I've had people ask how to use these digital papers. Like they weren't sure how they could utilize them in different ways in your crafting, in your Bible journaling, things like that. There's lots of different ways. I use them just to cover up some bleed through that I have. I use them as like I would scrapbook paper as like matting for pictures. And you can also stamp on them. I think this is a really fun way to bring in a lot of patterns on your page. So this is a stamp from Illustrated Faith. It is from Joy Journey. I think it's an old devotional kit that they had in the beginning of 2020, I believe. So I love this floral, and so I'm stamping it on several of the different papers, and then they have a smaller floral too, and I will just cut these out. So I sped this up a whole bunch, but I'll fussy cut out these different florals, and it, like I said, a great way to bring in some different patterns. I'll use these as layering pieces on my page, and I get to play with all that fun color, fun pattern without it overwhelming the page too much. I say it all the time, but one of the best parts about having these digital files is that you can print them over and over again. So you don't have to be afraid to try some different techniques. Run these through your die cutting machine. Try cutting out different words. Try stamping different images. See if you like it. You can experiment, and if it doesn't work out, you can always just print out another one of these pages. That's one of the best parts, and so I like experimenting. I like playing with the different papers. Digital papers are some of my favorite just because they are so versatile. You are also going to see me cut out several different elements from this set before I get started putting it on the page. I just went through and picked out some pieces that were kind of calling to me about the journey, being born to fly. That was the kind of the impetus for this particular page. Okay, I loved this digital paper. It was, I think, my favorite of this set. It was hard. I really liked several of them. And so I'm going to cut along the edge, along some of this roadside, this pink road that she has on here. And that's going to be the corner of my page and kind of the basis of where all my designs are going to come from. Like I said in the beginning, the verse I'm focused on is in Isaiah 40, verse 31, and it says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." To me, that really just spoke through this journey of life, this journey of faith that we are all on. And there are hard times, and there are times where we do feel tired, but whenever our hope is in God, it renews us. It just so easily builds us back up, and God is going to put the people and the moments in your life that you need to help you to keep going. And keep going is a phrase that I have put up really big in my craft room. It's a phrase I kind of hold on to because I think if we stopped when things got hard, then we'd never get anything accomplished. And I don't think God expects everything to be easy. In fact, He promises that it won't be easy, but He does promise that He will give us strength to keep going even in the hard times. All right, you see me lovingly do what is called the smushing technique. So this is with Distress Oxide ink, and all I do is take some old clear packaging that stamps or stickers, something like that comes in, and you smush some of the ink onto the clear piece of plastic and then add a little bit of water. I just use my distress sprayer, add a little bit of water, and then flip it over and smush it onto your page in a variety of ways. I always dry in between colors because I didn't want them to blend too much. So I did a spun sugar at first, and then I'm going to do speckled egg, which has a little bit of green in it. It's not quite as bright blue as what is in the set, but for me, that's okay. I just wanted a little bit of this coming out just to soften up the background. Again, as with a lot of mixed media, it gets covered up or pieces get covered up, and that's okay. This just adds a little bit more interest to the background of my page. And for me personally, it helps break up that large blank page and makes it a little less intimidating to begin working on. Once that is all the way dried, then I'm going to begin kind of gathering things on the page. And I'm not going to glue anything down or adhere anything down until I'm for sure where I want it to be. I'm definitely in a phase of creating where I want to see all the color and I want to see all the elements, and definitely a more is more kind of feel, and I'm just embracing it. I know that there's definitely things to be had from having white space or having negative space. And I do have that on this particular layout. If you see, I have everything kind of clustered toward the bottom left, and up on the top right where I'm going to have my journaling, it's going to be very open. And so in that way, your eyes will be attracted to where the journaling is. It won't get lost on the page. But I'm not going to shy away from using all of the things because it brings me joy. And I think too often we try to hold on to different elements for too long in our crafting. All right, I love that you can put these little key rings together. So one of the elements is this little set of keys, and then she has all of these cute keychains. And so I just cut a hole in where the ring of keys was, and then I punched a hole in that keychain element, and ta-da, it's an actual real little keychain, and I think it is absolutely adorable. Sometimes as you are adhering things down, if you have kind of planned them out on the page, it can be a little bit tricky. Some ways to make sure things stay in the same place would be to take a picture after you've laid it out, and then take it off and then adhere things down. For me, I don't worry if things kind of move and shift as I'm adhering them down. It's all kind of the fun of putting on the paper. You'll see the keychain moves in a pretty big way. It doesn't even end up in that corner. And that's okay. So some of the elements I'm putting flat on the page, these pieces right here, and then the idea is that they're going to kind of be coming out or coming from behind that road map paper that I cut earlier. And then I'm going to have, for another layer, some elements that are popped up on some double-sided foam adhesive that I got from the Dollar Tree. One of my very favorite Dollar Tree finds would be their foam adhesive tape. I'm just trimming off some of the edges there. So you can see how all of these travel elements are kind of popping up from behind this city map. And I really, really love that sign that says, keep going and trust him. I think that is such an important lesson and something that I tell myself over and over. When I'm doubting, when I'm not sure about the journey I'm on, I pray and I ask God for guidance. And then if he tells me, then I just keep going. And I trust that even if it's hard, even if it feels like it might not be going anywhere, that I can still trust him and that he has got a big plan for me. Okay, here's where that foam adhesive comes into play. So it's super easy to work with. And so I'm going to pop up the one-way sign because there's only one way to go. And then I'm going to pop up the keys. And this is where the keychain gets moved. I just thought it was such a fun element. And it actually is referring us to Philippians 4:9, where it says, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. And so I thought that's just another good lesson. What you have learned from God, from your time in the Word, put it into practice. Don't just be in the Word, but let the Word be in you, if that makes sense. So I'm putting these two elements together once again, trying to create this keychain look. And I decide I really like this element and I kind of want to bring it down towards the bottom. I feel like there's this empty-ish space where that photo is. So I'm going to kind of group it right there. I'm having a little trouble getting the foam situated. So linking those together, and I'm going to group it right here. And it might feel a little bit close to some of the other elements, but I like it in the end. And I still have a bunch of little blue flowers that I cut out that I'm going to put in at the end. They're the smallest element. I tend to work from big to small. And so at the end, I'll be able to add in some of those blue flowers to kind of bring in the whole thing together and to fill in some of the empty spaces as well. Okay, the last step is to get this travel poster adhered down. It also has the foam adhesive on it. And then I have these little blue florals, and I stamped these out in the beginning. And I like having a repeated element on my Bible journaling layouts. It kind of brings the whole spread together. Yes, this is all in the same color scheme, and yes, it was all from the same printables, but having this blue floral that goes from the top left to the bottom right creates this consistent flow across the spread that just makes it more eye-pleasing to me personally. So I like having that repeated element in there. Once all of those are in place, then I mark off the verse that I was focused on. I'm going to add a few lines with my ruler here for journaling purposes, and then I will stamp out the date. And normally I would stamp with black ink, but I actually decided to go ahead and use my Distress Oxide ink just so it wouldn't be too overbearing up there in the right corner. But you can see how there's plenty of room for that journaling, and you can really see it even though there's a lot going on the page. And that is it for this Bible journaling entry. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Down below in the description box, I have links to everything I use. Be sure to check those out. And a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you're interested in becoming a Scrappy YouTube member, then make sure to click that join button or check the link in the description box. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.